Welcome to another episode of Trench Tips, where this week we'll be reacting to those horrible interviews from The Apprentice that make you think, why on earth has this person made it this far? My name's Zach Thompson, this is Jack Frimston, and we are the second best salespeople in the country. Which one's second? I'll let you decide. Jack, what have you got for us?
This is how not to start an interview. So if you've ever watched The Apprentice, you know the interviews are the best bit. Let's see how not to start an interview.
Okay.
You.
You who?
Sorry.
Oh, I love Claude. Claude is the best. You who? It's the mirror from him. You who? You who?
You who?
Oh, it's so good.
Have you ever introed yourself wrong in an interview?
Maybe not an interview. I've introduced myself as Zach a lot of times in recent years.
Zach?
Yeah, do you not remember when we were on a call with a client and they were like, we're going to do some intros, and I think I was like knackered with the newborn baby. I went, I'm Zach, I'm one of the directors. And everyone's staring like, he's Zach and you're Jack. Oh, yeah.
Wow, you've been so tired you forgot your own name.
When I say the worst... When I say the worst interview, I'm getting excited now. When I say the worst interview you've ever had, where does your mind go automatically?
I know where your mind goes. I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah!
There's two bits from that interview. So I once interviewed for read.co.uk, the UK's #1 job site.
I got him the interview.
You got me the interview. Jack was working there. He was smashing it with all his mates. They were like, it's so easy. And we know a lot of cool people there and we make loads of money. I was like, wow, this sounds great. Just left uni. So the first thing that didn't land properly, he said, what would your mates say about you? We know that Jack works here. How would they describe you? I said, they'd probably say I've got a big head. He went, oh, what? Like you're really confident and arrogant? I went, no. Like I physically got a really big head. And there's these two people sat in front of me that didn't laugh at all. And then I'd hurt my jaw, so it was like really clicking and sore. And the way to soothe it was to have chewing gum. If I had chewing gum in, it was sound. And they fed back to you, didn't they, afterwards, and said, we're not going to hire him because he had chewing gum in.
Yeah, chewing gum. And weirdly, I mean, it's not that weird, but I also think it is weird. One of the guys that interviewed you is now a famous porn star.
No way. Lexington Steel.
No, he's genuine. His porn star name is Danny Two Dicks. Anyway. But yeah, true story.
Dicks? No,
and I don't know why. I think one is so good that they named it twice or something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
Sounds like a Shakespeare sonnet. One of my favourites. I remember I was interviewing for a recruitment job after recruitment, and I got to the end. And I was like, I'm not doing recruitment. I hate it. But I still had an interview, and I went there. And they asked me the same question. You spurred a memory there. What would your friends say about you? And I was being very droll, very deadpan. I said, they'd probably say I'm the funniest bloke they've ever met. And they went, all right, then tell us a joke. I went, okay. Asked me if I'm a lemon. He went, are you a lemon? And I went, no. And he just looked at me and went, let's just leave this interview now. Right. Should we
end it?
That was enough to end it. Should we watch another one?
Yeah, let's watch another one.
You're gonna. This one's called the most brutal apprentice interview ever, and you know what it is. It's your mate. It's your mate from LinkedIn. No, not that mate. A different one.
Come on, Joe, you can do this.
Oh, Joseph Valentine, Baltolini, whatever he's called.
So, you read Lord Sugar's book a few years ago, and you say you didn't sleep for weeks.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's right. It's what it did for me was gave me the inspiration to start my business. I thought, hang on a minute, all I need to do is get my own van, make a sign, get a name, start a business, I can do it myself. And then within a couple of days, I was ready to go.
Well, that's either a very sincere tribute to the power of his words, or it's the most blatant attempt to butter him I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I've actually got a copy of his book, so maybe a little test here.
Oh,
I love him. Is that true? Is that true?
that guy's both two great follows, those two, for two different reasons.
Yeah.
Mike Suit, a friend of the podcast, really good episode. Actually, bollocked Jack.
Well, we've never told the story. This is the perfect opportunity to tell the Mike Suter story. You tell it because I know that you get so much joy from me being bollocked in your life. So go on.
Right, so Mike Suter from The Apprentice, really wonderful guy. We had him on the podcast. He was a really nice guy. But obviously, his reputation precedes him. We were quite nervous about having him on the podcast. So we go downstairs to meet him at the studio we use in Putney. And he came up, we shook our hands, and he went, if I'd known it was here, I wouldn't have fucking come. And we both laughed. And then we were like, oh, he's not laughing. And Jack went, well, it's in London. And he went, no, it fucking isn't. It was just in very, very far West London. And since then, he's taught us a valuable lesson, hasn't he? He always makes sure that people really, really know where the studio is. And to his credit, as soon as he walked in and saw that it was a proper setup, he was very nice and he apologised afterwards and stuff. But how better to get introduced to Mike Suter than putting you straight on your toes?
I loved it because it was like the time Noel Gallagher told me to fuck off, and I was like, I went home and I saw my mum. She was like, "How was that bloke from The Apprentice?" I was like, I got genuinely bollocked by the guy that bollocks people. So it was.
I know, and you're like, yes.
Yes, this is the bit. Yeah, you're doing the bit. Right, so that means that we should definitely watch Mike Suter's best bits. Yeah. You ready for it?
Easily. Oh, mate.
You sure?
No, I haven't now.
So your first week is somewhere that you've never been?
No, so that was the choice that I decided based on the way in which people are booking holidays and the fact it's becoming more and more popular.
Okay, well, listen. Can you point it out for me, please? There's a pin.
Right.
And here's a globe.
I use something called Google. This is way before my time.
I'd like you to use something called a globe. It shouldn't be that difficult. Where's the resort you can take me
I'm going to go with. Right. So let's go with that. Is that anywhere good?
Oh, I would say you are about 600 miles away. That's around about Greece.
Okay, where did you say?
Zurcher Beach is right up here.
The point is, I've never seen a globe before. I've never looked at it on a globe.
You'd panic, wouldn't you? You would panic so hard.
He's got an ability, maybe you've learned it from him, but you've got this great thing with people where when they present something to you, you'll go, well, give me an example. And when they can't, you always go like, go on, just keep going. You must have an example of as you want to brought it up. And oftentimes they don't. Or when they say something vague or whatever. And that's exactly that, isn't it? They're like, oh, you've told me something. Just show me quickly.
Yeah, prove it. Or you just
prove it.
You're just a liar or bullshit. The worst one that I do, and I've stopped doing it because it's so mean. People say, I really love the podcast. And my favourite follow-up question is, what's your favourite episode?
No.
And what's your favourite episode? You can't say Rory Sutherland. They go, it's so good. I want to do a little mid-form now. I want to tell you about this week's sponsor of the episode. Are you ready for this? It's Prospeo, prospeo.io, but they have a new feature out. So, you know, like back in the day, I'm going to tell you all about it because I know that you're sat there thinking, I don't know what this new feature is. And I've got Claude Littler in my ears right now. So let me just pause Claude Littler because Claude is so loud.
Comment Claude.
Comment Claude. Right. It's mad. All the Apprentice best bits are all Mike Suter. So the Prospeo, the new feature that's coming out, basically, you know, if you've ever used any like data tool, it's Clickbox. Now, because of AI, the new features that's coming out with Prospeo, you type it in, I'm looking for CEOs that have just received funding in B2B space, bang, list, done.
No way.
So it sounded pretty sexy, and I know you're thinking, can I just use that? Yeah, you could just use that. And they've got a webinar that's coming up. The link is in the description. We want to see you there. But I think right now, use Prospeo.io and back to the full episode. Zach, great to see you. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Really, really good. Really good. Great read there. Very seamless.
Thanks, man. Right, I'm gonna share and let's see if we can get through some more
Gonna
bits.
share and do.
This one's called the hardest interview question ever. While this is loading and we're getting this all ready to go,
But maybe while you figure that out, we can ask you at the same time, what's the hardest interview question you've ever been asked?
that's such a powerful question.
No.
Thanks, man.
Oh, I tell you why I didn't get a job once. This you'll like this. I told them I was really, really good at maths. It was for an interview at Woucher, and then they asked me to do some basic mental arithmetic in my head, where it'd be like, if you gave a 10% discount, it was this, this, and this. What would the discount be? I'm just sat there going, and you know, like when you feel the sweat dripping down your head, and you're like, I don't know what the answer is to this. Oh, this is really painful.
You're fucking with me, mate. I've had that same thing, but I interviewed for a recruitment job straight after uni, and I got through to like the final stage. It was when I was like people got asked to leave throughout it, and I was the last one there. And then they were like, "Right, let's just a few tests just to make sure like you can think." It's all easy stuff now. There's a bit of like spelling and do I know my own name and stuff. And then it was like, right, and let's just work out your commission. And it was, mate, it's embarrassing. It was like, if you made like, let's say it was £10,000 for the business, what would 20% of that be? And I'm bad at maths, right? And I'd probably not worked that percentage since about year 8 or 9. And then was like 22. I'm going, poor. Yeah, good. And I just couldn't think how you work out a percentage.
I'll tell
It's
you,
weird,
I'll
isn't it?
tell
Like, I've never made that mistake. I knew from that day forward, but I was just like trying to just blag it and buy time. Like, you don't know how to do it, do you? Nah, I don't know how to do it.
Oh, you could just say something. I know it's going to be a lot of money, and I'm going to spend it so well. Oh, it's
yeah. But how much?
yeah. I just sent you one on Teams. If you want to share your screen, that'd be great, and we'll have another one coming up to you soon. I'm going to tell you about the time. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you about the time where I did an interview once for JC Decaux, and we had to play like a guessing game of who are you, and I took it a little bit too literal, and I did an impression of Kanye West. I started dancing on the tables, calling everyone psychos.
Oh, God. I'm so tired. I've just been talking to qualified prospects all day without any wait time.
How have you been doing it? Because I've been cold calling people on my mobile, and I reckon I've spoke to one person.
No. Stop that right now and use Nux.ai.
Why? What does Nux do?
It finds me the right people to call, and it calls them, and it connects with them over and over and over again.
So you're saying it's Nux.ai, and I can just be speaking to qualified decision makers all the time?
No other better connection, right?
Wow, Nux.ai.
What's the weirdest interview you've held whilst we have a meeting?
Oh, my God. Mate, you know the one. We interviewed someone once who kept referring to themselves in the third person. And she worked in events. And we were asking, what was the question that we asked? Tell us about events.
She said, yeah, I've worked in events in the past and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, could you give me an example? You know me, I love an example. And she said, well, an event is when two people get together. So it could be you and Zach hanging out together. I was like, no, sorry. I know what an event is. I know what an event is. I just meant an example of an event you've done. She likes to skateboard.
That was it. She kept referring to herself in the third person.
Yeah.
What does Sarah like to do in her spare time? Like that.
It was brilliant. And then the feedback was, yeah, I thought it went well, but Jack and Zach kept pissing themselves all the way through. It really got us. Zach Thompson, a task for this week. I was starting with one, but if you've got one, please send it over.
Okay, it's a simple one this week. I want you to comment on this podcast and then share one of our previous episodes and tag us. Can be on Instagram, can be on LinkedIn, can be on X, wherever you use social media the most. Tag us, and the first 3 people who comment on this and tag us somewhere else on social sharing an episode, we're going to give £500 to.
That's really generous.
we do this every week. So yeah, first person to do that. First 3 people to do that.
There's money to be made. Thank you guys. Have a lovely week. We'll see you soon.